Hello, this is Paul McCartney, and Joe Johnson and I are having Sunday morning Beatle Brunch.
Friends to go. You mentioned that George was, you were thinking of him, or he was an inspiration. Before I read that, I'm listening to the song, and I hear it going down a slippy slope, and I'm thinking of George. Wow, that's a real Georgie kind of.
Did you really?
I honestly did. And
Yeah.
I listened to the CD interview, and I thought, wow, that's.
Oh, great.
It felt like it.
Yeah,
really
that's what happened when I was writing it. I just felt like I was writing a George song. It wasn't as if sort of the spirit of George was in me or anything, but I was just writing something that I thought, yeah, George could have written this and done it. So again, I just followed that trail. I just thought, oh, okay, let's see what else he'd write, and just kind of kept going on in the same vein.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it has to, and I'm glad you noticed it. It seems to me a little bit that way.
In the world of rock and roll, there's so many unstable people. How do you stay focused and grounded with your family and with your career? I mean, all these years. I mean, it's so easy to go over here and there. And how do you do it? Is it a spiritual thing or family? Your dad?
I don't know. I always think it was for the family I'm from, really, because he would always be giving the words of advice as a kid, when I was a kid, to me and my brother, and. Yeah, we sort of didn't listen to all of it, like you don't. It's like, oh, yeah, Dad, But now I can look back on it and think, oh, it was really good. I can see why he did that. I can see how much he cared. And also the rest of the family is pretty strong, pretty based, pretty feet on the ground. So when I go back up to Liverpool, it's a recharge of those kind of values. And so I think that's probably what started it all. And then, as you say, I'd see so many of my mates who were going, yeah, let's do this. I go, ooh, I'm not sure about that, And I would always be probably a bit more cautious than most of my mates, some of whom aren't here, probably because they weren't, didn't exercise that small degree of caution. But I've always been a bit like that. If an idea didn't seem that great, I wouldn't do it. Whereas I think some of the guys are like, yeah, well, go on then, all right. So, I think it's just my values, from when I was a kid.
You talked about people changing the meaning of the song. I know in Fine Line you said people are saying it could be people that are in Iraq could be relating to the song. Do you think in Follow Me that there could be a spiritual angle to that?
Yeah, I think spiritual, definitely in Follow Me. The nice thing about songs is that you write them with something in mind. And my first thought on Follow Me was I'd been actually thinking about the song Let It Be, and I'd been thinking, it's kind of good that, because it's kind of inspirational, and it's become, I think with the Mother Mary line, it's become a little bit kind of religious, and gospel groups do it, and people like that do it. So I was just thinking, yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with that, and started writing something that was directly, you lift me up, you guide me, you're great, and just put it into a song. And then you realise, they can have other meanings. I mean, I wrote that, and while Heather was out, and she came back in, I said, listen to this. And of course, it then related to her. You lift up my spirits, So, those things happen. Fine Line, where you were saying, it has other connotations. I did actually just think of it in relationship to the Iraq War. It was actually me thought of that. I just thought, wow. A fine line between recklessness and courage, and come home, brother, all's forgiven. It kind of suddenly, so songs can suddenly seem to have another meaning. So I think that's one of the good things about them. You're in a situation and you pick out a new meaning because it suits you in that situation.
English tea. It's. I know you talk about the gentleman and the different kinds of tea, but it almost seems like a children's song too. I could picture your daughter enjoying that song.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Joe. I'm glad I came. No, it's a very adult song. I know what you mean. Yeah, no, it's a kind of tongue-in-cheek little thing, and it's one of those that some songs kind of write themselves quite easily. I mean, I say they write themselves; they appear to write themselves. I mean, I write them, but that one just came quite easily. I think once you got a little idea in your head like that, would you care to sit with me for a cup of English tea? The stage is set. You kind of know. It's like you've seen this film. So you just sort of follow it through. That's what it seems to me anyway. But I was very pleased last night in the audience of Miami, the opening night. We were expecting it to be a completely new song for people, but a couple of people have already heard it and brought signs with little teapots.
They may have heard it on Beatle Brunch.
Yeah?
There you go.
All right.
You never know.
You never know. I would reckon that's where they heard it.
The hidden track. It was fun to stumble across that.
Mm.
Have you done that before?
No. And I don't think it was very well hidden this time. I mean, some people do it like it's 40 seconds after the CD's finished. Ours is about 10. But no, it was just a fun little thing we did at the end of all the sessions. And we just thought we'd throw it in. We were actually looking for a way to open the album. And we thought we should just have a sort of just a bashing thing for nothing. Mm-hmm. And then start with the first track. But we decided it was a better closer.
The little psychedelic things in there, the little instruments. I kind of was hearing like a little magical mystery tour incidental thing going on in there. It was just kind of
some little references. Yeah. And we were just having fun. I mean, we'd really kind of finished the album, but we were just goofing around, and it was one of those.
Then you flip it upside down.
You see, it's all very clever.
I saw that notice.
That's called an ambigram.
An ambigram.
Yeah. And I was talking to the guy Rob, who was helping with the artwork, and we were, thinking what we'd do. And I was going to put little clues. Sometimes when you're looking at like foliage, like in this room here, for instance, these little palm trees, if you just sort of sit and you can kind of see like, oh, there's like an H, or there's an N, or there's like a letter. And I was thinking of playing with that idea, having what looked like ordinary photos, but then hiding little sort of words in them. And it was going to be some sort of hidden message thing that people, you say to your friend, have you seen the hidden message? Do you know what it says? And it would be some great wise remark. I don't know. But we were going to just do that. And with that in mind, he brought along this book, which was to do with sort of illusions and drawings and things, like the artist Escher, where those stairs where you think you're going up and then you suddenly realise you're going down, and optical illusions and things. And there was an ambigram in there, and I said, wow, that is pretty far out.
And they can do that with any name? Or?
Well, no, there's just certain things lend them. So we were actually going to do Chaos and Creation in the Backyard, and he had that worked out. But then he said to me, he said, I've been messing with your name. He said, it works better. So I said, look at this. He showed me it. And I just thought it'd be a bit of fun. You get a record and stuff, and you say to your friend, hey, look at this, and you turn it upside down. And they're bound to go, wow. Yeah, well, it's like, how did they do that?
You do it last night at the end of the show. You flipped
it. We put it on there, yeah.
All Shook Up on Broadway, Moving Out, Mamma Mia, Good Vibrations, obviously the Lennon musical. Can we expect a McCartney musical?
I wouldn't think so. Really? No, I don't think so. I'm a sort of fan of like old musicals, like West Side Story, and kind of.
You would write original music then, no?
Well, yeah. I mean, if I was ever going to do it, I've kind of often thought of maybe doing it. Maybe some huge job, so it would have to be just more than just a thought. It'd have to be a real dedication thing. But I wouldn't like the idea so much of it being songs you already knew. I think those are good. I mean, I think Mamma Mia and stuff, it's got quite a neat little plot. Mm-hmm. And I've seen it just to sort of see whether it works or not. I think some of those do work. But I think by the time I got round to it, I think it'd be a pretty tired idea. It's really a sort of easy way to write a musical, let's just get together, Bob Dylan's greatest songs and call it Bob. Wow, great, I can see that on Broadway. No, call it Dylan. Okay, yeah.
The fans have written me a question. They want to know, is there any opportunity that you will have your song catalog back? Is that something you would like to do?
That's sort of lost in the mists of time, that whole idea. What happens is it gets too rich, the whole thing. There was a time when it was kind of something, that we might have done. And there were one or two opportunities that we could have just about done. But I'm not really bothered about it anymore. It was a deal we did millions of years ago, shrouded in fog, Liverpool fog. One morning we signed a little contract, and I'm still under that same contract. But it doesn't really bother me. It has from time to time, as you probably know, reading about it. But no, I'm not really bothered. It's I figure I get enough anyway. I get a lot off it all, so I'm not bothered. It's okay. If anyone wants to, if Sony and Michael Jackson would like to give me it back, I probably wouldn't say no. But I'm not sure. That's highly likely.